When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
Ciao and welcome back to Pasta More, Pasta with Love. I'm Chef Joe Mele and I want to wish all of my viewers, subscribers, guests a very healthy and happy new year. And I also want to say that thank you all for supporting me for the past 6 years at the Cookshop Plus in West Hartford. One of the best experiences I've had in recent memory, but unfortunately all good things come to an end, and going forward you can find me at a couple new places. That's going to be starting on February 4th in Farmington at the Lewis G. Mills High School, actually in Burlington, but you can go to the Farmington Adult Education website and you can start booking pasta classes right now. Later on in March, I will also be holding classes at the Glastonbury Adult Education Center, which is also going to be located at the Glastonbury High School. So until then, I decided, I can't wait until February. I need to do something. So I said, what a perfect time to redo some videos for all your viewing pleasure. And I thought, what a great way to issue in the winter with a very hearty pasta video, one of which I'm sure most of you, 99% of you, probably have never made or maybe even never tasted or seen. So in honor of the winter, we are going to be doing what's called Pizzicotti. And Pizzicotti is going to be served with an Arrabiata sauce, which furthers, enhances that warming, comforting sensation. So what exactly is Pizzicotti? Essentially, it's a yeast-raised dough, much like a pizza dough. And then what we do after it's risen, we just take and we pinch off little pieces of the dough and we put it on a tray, kind of like, almost like gnocchi, but no shape or anything, just random pinches of dough. And once those are all done, then we drop them in rapidly boiling salted water. When they float, we're going to toss it in our Arrabiata sauce, which is going to be made of garlic, shallots, tomatoes, white wine, sliced cherry peppers, cumin, peperoncino, fresh basil, little salt and pepper, and it's going to be a very comforting dish that most of you have never experienced. So to that end, I am going to get the dough started first because that needs to proof. So I will see you in just a minute at the mixer. Okay, so here we are back at our mixer, and to my bowl of my mixer I have added 18 ounces of all-purpose flour, already pre-measured. To that, I am going to add a tablespoon of instant yeast. Now, let me tell you about the instant yeast. This is the greatest invention. So I'm going to put a tablespoon in there. So the instant yeast, unlike dry active yeast, you have to bloom that in water, a little sugar till it gets bubbly. Instant yeast, put it right in with all your dry ingredients. It's no fail. It works every single time. So I have my instant yeast in here. To that I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar and 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay. My other dry ingredient is a cup of instant milk powder, dry milk solids. Okay. So I am going to mix all those together to make sure they're well blended. And then I'm going to add 12 ounces of warm water. Actually, I can take it right from here. To my 12 ounces of water, I am going to add like a tablespoon of olive oil, tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Just stir that up a little. And then we're just going to slowly add that in to the dough. And we're going to let that all mix together until we have a dough. So when I do this, I'm going to turn up my speed a little bit now. And I'm going to try to get all of my flour incorporated. So when we do this, I'm going to get it all mixed. I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to let it proof. While that's proofing, I'm going to show you how to make the sauce. So I am going to now lower down, get all of my flour incorporated in there. If I just let it keep mixing all the flour on the side of the bowl, it would take forever to get that incorporated. So I'm going to just help it along here. Santa Lucia. All right. Alright, so it's starting to come together. It's going to be a really soft dough. And I always keep a little dusting flour, just in case it's still a little sticky and I just need to bring it together. Okay, good. Okay, so now I'll put a little flour on my hands. Take out my dough hook. It did its job very nicely. And now we're going to turn this out, put a little flour underneath, turn this out, and I'm going to need this because I'm going to need to let it proof later. So we'll put some olive oil into our bowl. But before that, look at this beautiful dough. Okay? Comes together really, really nicely. You just want to give it a nice knead. So it's all nice and smooth. Get a nice ball going here. So now we have this beautiful dough ball. I'm going to put it in my bowl, coat it with the oil. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this tightly to create a little steam in here. Okay, let that all, and I keep my oven at 170 degrees when I'm proofing. So I'm going to put this right in, forget about it, and we'll come back to that after we make our sauce. Okay, so bear with me. We're going to move along to making our sauce, and then we'll see how this whole thing comes together. Okay, so now we are back, and we are going to start making the sauce, the arrabbiata sauce for our pizzicotti. So, as always, I have my pan that's heating. So anybody that knows me knows that I always ask that you turn your pan, get it smoking hot before you ever add any aromatics, anything you're going to saute. So my pan is heating. Okay, so we're going to walk you through the ingredients here for the arrabbiata. So we're going to start with about 3 to 4 ounces of olive oil. Just coat the bottom of your pan, okay? So that, I can see it's already starting to move around. In a minute it's just going to be hot enough so when we put our ingredients in, they start to sizzle. That's what you're looking for. So I have my garlic and shallots. I have my sliced pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. I have my basil. I have my cumin. And I have my white wine, tomatoes, grated Romano cheese, salt and pepper. Okay, so it's starting to smoke a little bit. Always have your, that's what we want to hear when we do this, okay? We want to hear that sizzle. So what we don't want to do is get it so hot or let it cook so long that it's going to caramelize the garlic and shallots, thus turning it bitter. So we're just going to let that saute a little bit. And then we're going to go in with our sliced cherry peppers. With some of that juice that we had in the jar with the sliced cherry peppers, this is going to release anything that was on the bottom of the pan and incorporate that right into our sauce. Okay, starting to become fragrant now. I'm going to add about a teaspoon or so of the cumin and stir that in. I always like to put my cumin, my flavorings right into the sauce so that it starts getting a little toasted and brings out that flavor even more. So this is quite an earthy flavor, the cumin warming, so that's going to add a little bit of background to our sauce. Okay, once that is in, I'm going in with my white wine. In this case we're using Prosecco. It is New Year's, so why not? Okay. Beautiful. Now we want to let that cook out a little bit, that alcohol from the wine, to get that winey taste out of there, and just leave the flavor of the grapes, of the Prosecco. Oh, it's already amazing, and we're only half there. Meanwhile, my water is simmering here, getting ready. Our dough is proofed, and we're going to take that out in a minute. So next steps, let's go in with our pomodoro, our tomato. And you want it rustic, so that's why I just hand crushed these tomatoes. So we're going to stir that in. And I'm going to go in with like half of the basil, because I want to save the rest for garnishing on top. Alright, good. So let's let that, so I have in there, I'm going to, a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, so we'll let that simmer together, and then now I think I can take my dough out of the oven. So look at that, it's proofed up nicely. So what we're going to do is put a little flour down here, and I'm going to just, look how pillowy, how beautifully soft this is. So we punch it down to get the air out, of course, as always. And now our dough is beautiful and is ready for forming into our little balls of goodness here. So what we're going to do, this is the simplest part. I just grab with a couple fingers and we're just going to pull it apart. And we're just going to drop it on a tray that has some semolina on there so that it won't stick to the pan. And there's no right or wrong, there's no exact size. It's usually about bite size. And don't forget, these are going to puff up as they cook. And try not to stack like one on top of another. We don't want them sticking together. It'll just be one big dough ball. So this dough makes, quite a bit. You could see already that we're just going to make enough for a portion today. But this dough yields about, you got 18 ounces of flour, 12 ounces of water, there's 30 right there, plus your olive oil. You're probably a little over 2 pounds of finished product. So that should, be enough for 4 to 6 people. Especially with a dish that's as hearty and filling as this, or more for if you're just going to do it as a side dish or an appetizer. So sometimes if my hands are a little sticky, I'll just put a little flour on here so that when I pull it, it doesn't stick together. I'm just going to do a couple more here, and that should be enough for our purposes here today. For the purpose of the demo, I usually do like one nice portion. Alright, this is good. 2, 3. Okay. Alright, so this here, I'm just going to put aside and get it back into a ball. Put it to the side, and then I will cover it just to keep it from drying out. Okay? So now let's go back to our sauce here. It's reducing nicely. That's what you want to do, is you want to get the real liquidy, the wine and the tomato juices to cook down and reduce. Oh. Wow. So all those, think of those flavors that we have, the cumin, the peppers, the tomatoes, the garlic, the shallots, the wine, all are marrying together to come to this beautiful, fragrant, flavorful sauce. And also with a little kick. So obviously if you're not the type that likes heat, maybe you might want, this recipe will work whether you want to do a bolognese with it, you want to do a simple marinara, go for it. This is more traditional for this, but you don't have to. Okay? Alright, so we're going to let that simmer. While that's simmering, there is one thing I do want to mention to you. So you all know that I do in-home pasta classes, I do the cooking classes. Now I'm entertaining thoughts, with my wife's permission of course, of holding a limited class here in my kitchen of 4 people. If we can comfortably get 4 people in this kitchen around this beautiful table, and we could do a class, most likely a pasta class, not something real involved or anything, but just a simple, if this is something that may interest you and you might want to take part in it, let me know. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm just throwing it out there as something we thought of because I just love to teach and I love to cook. So anyways, we could make that happen here if there's enough interest. Alright, so our sauce is cooking, my dough is ready to go, my water is boiling. So what we're going to do, okay, while that simmers, we're going to come over here to the stove and I'm going to coat these in some semolina just so that they don't stick together as I'm picking them up, putting them in the pot. So much like gnocchi, when you put them in the pot, eventually they will come back up and float to the top. Okay, so that's kind of like what I'm looking for right now. I'm going to give it a stir. Good. So those are fine right now. I want to clean up my area a little bit because I am going to bring over our presentation dish so that we can do a nice portion and can finish up this dish. I'm going to go in again, taste it again, see if any more seasoning is needed. Wow. Perfecto. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. Alright, so these, they have just popped up to the surface. We're going to give them just another minute. Okay? So what you want to do is I'm going to walk this over to the stove. And I'm going to scoop it in there, and I'm going to drag a little bit of that pasta water, okay, that has that salty pasta water with a little bit of that starch in there so the sauce all sticks together, okay? And they have puffed up significantly too. You'll see this in a minute when I bring it back over. Alright, so now we're going to scoop these up. And if I drag some of that pasta water with me, all the better. Alright, so this is what you're looking at. Look at these beautiful dough balls. Pizzicotti. Now, I'm not just going to coat it and dish it. I want to let these simmer in here for a little bit, further incorporating them into the sauce so that sauce flavors that pasta even more. Oh, I can't think of a better time of year to do this dish. I mean, the winds are blowing like crazy out there. It's about 0 degrees. What better way to have a dish that's going to warm your insides and just give you that warm, fuzzy, cozy feeling on a cold winter day. So this is not a dish you would do in the middle of summer, obviously. But for right now, this time of year, this is perfect. Okay, nice. So the sauce is adhering. I am going to get my spoon and I'm going to take this off the heat. And now we're going to, I first want to come in and get my pizzicotti, and then maybe go back and top it with a little more sauce. Alright, good. Good deal. Now I'm going to just grab some of this pomodoro with some basil, put it on top, and we're going to clean up our dish here, right? Presentation. And then we're going to finish with a little grated Romano. Seeing that dish is originated in Rome, right? So we're going to take some basilico on top, okay? That's your Pizzicotti Arrabiata. However, we have to taste, right? We do have to go in here and try to get a little bit of everything. And the interesting thing, besides this being amazing, the texture of the pizzicotti is much lighter than a gnocchi, if that's possible. I can taste in the dough the acid from the vinegar, okay, and the yeasty goodness of that dough. Really a unique experience. If you've never done this, I suggest that you try it, because quite satisfying. So anyways, this is for you. Happy New Year. Enjoy this. And I will see you. We're going to do another video next week. I think as long as I got the time and you got the interest, we're going to try to come up. Let me know if there's something that you want me to video on the Facebook group page, on the Pasta More page, and I will try to get it to you. I will do a video with your requests. If that's something you think you want to do, reach out to me. Otherwise, stay well, stay healthy, and I will see you next week, or I'll see you in class. Grazie tante, buon appetito. Ciao ciao.